Hey,
Hey
let me get,
everyone. Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry, let me get my audio recording on my end.
Okay,
Whoa.
sure.
Okay, so now I'm good to start when you're ready. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Anyways, hey everyone. This is Robert here, and thank you for tuning into the podcast. We are gonna be chatting for a bit or two, so I have a returning guest that is sitting with me, and this time we are doing Zoom because apparently that's hot nowadays. So, yeah, would you like to introduce? I mean, no, I'll just say this. This is Gina. She's been on the show before, and now we're just going to be talking about stuff again. So, thank you for joining me for this lovely afternoon, evening ish on your end. But yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, can't complain. Hey everyone. Yep, my name's Gina. I am a voice actress, but that's what I talked about when I was on here last time. So that may pop up again. It may not. We'll see. But
At
otherwise,
some point,
I'm
yeah.
I'm just chilling here. It's evening my time. Fun fact, my cat is actually asleep on my lap right now. So depending how much I talk and if she gets bored of me, we may see her pop up to say hi. So we'll see.
Dope. So I guess we're just not gonna waste any time here. So first off, since you are back on my show, how is this like? How has the past like 2, 3-ish years been for you since the last time we spoke?
I know
Just to
it's
start off as my first question. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
been
a
a minute.
wild to think that it's been like almost years at this point. I still time has been weird ever since COVID
Mm-hmm.
started, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's been going good. I'm still kind of in my same spot. I think since the last time we talked, I've actually switched day jobs. I've had my cat for a little bit longer, and things have been going really good. I've been taking time for myself, both with pursuing my career, but also just getting myself to relax more because I'm terrible at that typically. But it's been a good couple of years. I can't complain with where I'm at and how I'm doing.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Let's see, for me, I've just been kind of still doing this thing. Like I do the podcast, I do like the auditions and anything else whenever I have like a moment to. So yeah, it's just kind of been like a crazy few years for me as well. So yeah, I'm not really complaining much.
Yeah, for sure. It's like I said, ever since COVID started, time is just weird. Like I still think it's 2022. Granted, we're only in like the first month of 2023, so I'm sure I'm not the only one that has that problem. But time is wild for sure.
Oh, for sure. So I guess to follow up with that, I know that it's just kind of been like, the past few weeks. I know that recently, and speaking of the pandemic, share with us a little bit about like, how it was for you like a few weeks ago when you caught that thing.
Oh yeah, for those who don't know, about 4 weeks ago, I caught COVID for the first time, which honestly, I'm proud that it took this long for me to actually get it. So I take that as I was taking all the right steps. Um, for those who have had it, I'm sure you already know. Those who haven't, it's not fun. Um, it seems to affect people differently. I know for the first few days, I had like a really bad fever, and I had to stop work for a little bit to kind of rest and recuperate. And after that subsided, I was able to go back to work, but I had a sore throat and a cough, and that lasted for weeks. Truth be told, I think I still kind of have it lingering just a tiny, tiny bit. It may slip out once or twice while we're talking. But that was not great. On one hand, I'm a workaholic. I love being busy and keeping myself busy doing stuff. But on the other hand, like I mentioned, I'm trying to get myself to relax and take time for myself. So while I wasn't feeling 100%, I try to see it as like a blessing in disguise that it made me kind of slow down and just be in the moment and relax while I had the time. And so it had ups and downs, but I'm glad I'm over it now at this point.
Yeah, I remember I got sick last August, and it
Mhm.
was I think a few I know about this, but yeah, I got it back in August for the first time, and yeah, like you said, it was honestly, it was very impressive on how much I actually managed to avoid it for so long. Because I remember I think it was like the first weekend of August that it really started for me, and just like it took me about 2, 3 weeks for me to fully recover from it. So I'm doing better now, and I'm at least I can talk again,
Hmm.
which is what you need to do as a voiceover artist. So yeah, I'm just really glad that it wasn't. I mean, I had a mild case. I think my family would kind of beg to differ, but it's kind of like it's different for everybody. Like I don't even know which one I got, but it's just like it was really bad. I still don't recommend it. Like, absolutely not. So, besides that though, how was last year for you, 2022?
It was a pretty good year. I've been in this apartment, like I said, for a couple of years now. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, because again, time, weird. So it mainly was a good year. Definitely had its ups and downs. I mentioned at the beginning, but I found a new kind of full-time job that I do work outside of voice acting. And that took me a good, I want to say 6, 7 months to actually land something. It was tough and it got a little discouraging at some points, but I have found something that is more up my alley in the field that I want to pursue. And I've been with them since October now, and it's been really fun. I'm currently a podcast coordinator, so I help manage this company's multiple podcasts. There's like, I think we're in the double digits at this point with how many there are. But I love working with sound regardless of what aspect of it. So it was a bit of a struggle there in 2022, but I feel like the end result was worth all of the struggle it took to get here. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Let's see. For me, I've just kind of been um, working on a little short audio thing, which I'm planning to release later this year. So hint, hint. So that's been kind of
Ooh.
keeping me occupied in like the last 2 years, I want to say. And then yeah, I've just been doing like a lot. I've just been taking a lot of classes, workshops, and doing all of this VO related um, avenues. And if I'm not doing that, I've just been playing a lot of video games and just been binge watching Netflix stuff. So that's kind of how it mostly was for me last year. And then I just got back from 2 vacations about a
Oh,
month
that's
ago.
where did you
So yeah,
go?
I went to San Diego for Christmas, and then I went somewhere in LA, like Los Angeles, for New Year's.
Oh,
Um,
that's fun.
just to close out the year with a bang, I suppose.
For sure. For
Yeah, we
sure.
even went to SeaWorld and everything, so it was nice, real nice.
That's awesome. I bet it was definitely a warm Christmas for you then, being out
Oh,
west.
totally. Yeah. I mean, my year had its ups and downs, but it's kind of like we're in a new chapter, new year, so it's we take what we got. Um, like if a year, I will say this: whenever you get knocked down, people just get back up. I mean, we've had one bad chapter doesn't mean it's the end of the story. That's what I
Hmm.
usually say. Yeah.
That's a good phrase. I'm gonna remember and keep that one. That's really
So you
good.
could just steal it from me and then just and use it for
Yeah,
your podcast. Oh my god.
yeah, exactly. Good actors borrow, great actors steal.
There you go. So anywho, so I guess I asked like, how did you get started into VO? Blah 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 blah, which I'm not going to do it this time because I've done that so many times at this point. But instead, let's see. Explain, like, talk to us. Like, what have you been like, kind of getting into as far as media or just anything that you've been consuming as of late?
Yeah, for sure. It's funny you mentioned gaming, and I was gonna ask what games you played. You'll have to tell me later. But
Yeah,
I
I'll just go after you. Yeah.
For sure. It's funny because I grew up, I didn't have a lot of video game devices growing up. I got a Nintendo DS when I was like in my really early teens, and then a Nintendo Wii that my family and I used. But since I've been out on my own and having that free time, I've been getting into like Steam games. So um, I have been taking a little bit of a break because I've been busy this month. But I've been getting into a lot of like story-based games. Like Amori has been a really big one that I've gone through a couple times at this point. One Shot was really fun. Undertale, Stardew Valley is one I've had in my back pocket whenever I just have an hour or two to kill. But actually, I went home for Christmas, and in the midst of packing up my stuff to come back here, I found my old Nintendo DS with my games. And a couple buttons are broken, but enough of them work so to the fact that I took it all back with me. So now I'm going through Pokemon Diamond Edition on my DS all over again. And I think I've got like almost hours sunk into that game since Christmas has been done. So I've been having fun with that game.
Right, right. Um, yeah, for me personally, let's see, for TV shows, I literally just binged um all of Cobra Kai. Now granted, I wasn't really a big Karate Kid person. Like I wasn't I mean, like the first movie was I kind of thought it was okay, to be honest. And I didn't really watch the sequels, so I just only know the first one. And I've also seen the one with uh that came out like a few years ago, which I didn't really like. So prior to watching Cobra Kai, it honestly was a nice, refreshing sort of change of pace from because I've been watching like a lot of like animated shows, cartoons. So just
Mhm.
watching like a show that was pretty much a follow-up to one of the biggest movies from the night, well, at least in the early 80s, was kind of a nice, little because I want to watch more live action because I just want to expose myself to to more stuff outside of animation. Like I love animation and anime and whatnot, but I think live action. I think I'm starting to get back into it after a few years of just specifically focusing on like cartoons and whatnot. So Cobra Kai is pretty decent. It does get better as it goes along. I also finished Stranger Things. I've also
Mhm.
watched the new Wednesday show that just came out, and it's fine. That's really all I can say. Um, and let's see, for animation, um, I've just kind of been going back and rewatching um, like Disney, like the Disney afternoon stuff, Toon Disney, and like the Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon shows that came out way back when. As for the new stuff, I'm not sure if there's like anything that I'm watching that I would recommend as far as I know, because I haven't really been keeping up with like a lot of the new stuff that's been out now. But I will say that Agretsuko is actually really good, and if we're gonna talk anime now, and I don't really know too much about My Hero. I just know that stuff happens. I kind
Yeah.
of sort of watched the all of season one, and then maybe bits and pieces of like two and three, and then I just kind of and then I got distracted with other stuff, which always happens with me
That's how it
because
goes.
my brain is just kind of like I focus on one thing and then the next moment I'm like, oh, what's this? That's usually what happens. I kid you not. Oh my
It's
gosh.
it's funny you mentioned My Hero. That was the show when I was in college that my friends and I caught up on together, and we watched it, and we were the biggest fans of it. And then as we got older, it's still good, and I still will go back to it every now and then, but I haven't caught up yet. But sorry, it's funny you brought that up. A friend of mine, her fiance is really into anime and manga, and I guess he was like telling her about like the latest changes that happened. I guess like a really, I won't spoil it for people watching if they haven't gotten to it yet, but like a really big thing happens in the manga that's like earth shattering. And our friend casually told my friend group, and we were like, we weren't planning on reading the manga or really catching up. But like, why did you have to tell us that? That's so sad. And now I need to know what happened. How did you get to that point? So apparently there's a lot of drama happening right now. So
Apparently so.
hmm
um yeah, I'm not gonna open up that can of worms, but yeah, it's just kind of like for any fandom, there's always gonna be like, some shenanigans that are going to happen and not the good kind. So what can you do about it?
hmm
So that's kind of like what I've been getting into as of late. I would like to start watching JoJo because I know that I've seen, post on your Twitter that you're also a fan of the show, and I just need to like start watching it from the beginning because like that's the only way that I can understand it, apparently. So yeah, you could just talk about JoJo for a little bit if you like.
Yeah. I'm gonna assume I caught you froze up for a little bit there, but I
Oh,
assume
I'm
you
so
asked me about
sorry.
like JoJo.
Ask me about like your
No,
JoJo experience, yeah.
yeah, for sure. Technology's great. You're totally fine. So yeah, when it comes to JoJo, I discovered that show through the meme, is that a JoJo reference to be continued, et cetera, et cetera. And it just kept popping up in my feed as I was getting into anime, and I was like, all right, I might as well give it a try and see how this goes. And it's such a wild show, and it's funny because it's very actiony, almost shonen-esque, and that's typically not the genre I get into. I'm more of that romantic comedy, slice of life type of person with media, not so much the action, the big flashy fights. But it was one of those that it was so dumb and just showy that it looped around to being just a
Alrighty, so sorry about that, y'all. We had some tech difficulties, but anyways, you were saying, Gina, about JoJo?
yeah. I'll start it over again just to be safe, and then you
Sure.
can do your fancy
Yeah.
editing later. So yeah, I got into JoJo back when I was in college. I was introduced to it through the typical memes of like the to be continued, enemy stand, all that fun stuff. So it was just it was everywhere, and I really wanted to know what it was about. So, a couple of my friends, we got together and we started watching the show, and it's funny because it is more of that actiony shonen based type of anime. And typically that's not my genre of interest at all. I'm more like slice of life, comedy, romance type of person. But JoJo was the type of show that was quite simply very bizarre and flashy and flamboyant that it looped back around to being incredibly funny for me and sometimes incredibly heartfelt. So my friends at college and we would binge through it throughout the next couple of years while we wrapped up our schooling. So it holds a special spot in my heart, if just because of that, just because we got to bond over a really silly piece of media for literal years. Um, and yeah, I've posted this on Twitter. I have kind of like I call it my JoJo wall or my JoJo shrine. I've been getting autographs from voice actors, getting big, small prints, posters, and I've just started adding them all up on the wall. And it's gotten a lot bigger than I thought it was going to, and it's still growing. I actually have some pieces I need to put on my wall this weekend. But yeah, I really like the show. Definitely 10 out of 10. You should definitely give it a try. If you are starting with part one, it might be a bit of a slog. That's probably one of the more boring parts out of everything. But trek through it. It puts important plot in place, and once you get to the fun stuff, it's really really fun.
Oh yeah, totally. I think with JoJo, it just kind of became one of those anime or feature like um it just kind of started off as like another one of those wacky type of shonen anime that just quickly grew into something much bigger than it really anticipated. Then again, that's pretty much what you would say for a lot of anime that came out in like the past decade or so. It's like it just started out as like something that you see on the internet, and it just grew into a worldwide phenomenon over the last like few years or so. And it is insane on just how much it really blew up. Like it is just crazy.
No, it's yeah, we live in an age where like anime is almost I don't know if it's totally considered mainstream yet, but it is or it's definitely really close compared to where it was like 10 years ago, I'm sure. So it really is cool to see some of these shows getting like this worldwide attention and being noticed. So that makes me happy.
Yeah. Um, you've read the manga, correct? And then you've
Uh
watched the animes.
some of it. So I watched all the way up to part 5. Um I caught up while it was wrapping up part five, and there were still three other parts. We have a total of eight parts. Part nine's coming out this or next month. I'm excited. But I jumped into the manga afterwards. I tried reading part six, couldn't finish it. It just wasn't very interesting for me. So I'm actually working through part six of the series on Netflix right now. It's still really good. The performances are great. I'm so happy for Kira Buckland, who got the role of Jolene. I know that was a dream role of hers. It's just the story for this one. It's still good. It's just not my personal favorite. So I'm just going through it in bits and pieces. I read all of part seven, which I think is my favorite part, and it's going to be wild when it gets animated. And then I read part eight as well, which was okay, a little confusing, but I think if slash when I'm alive, it gets animated, it'll make more sense actually seeing it and not just reading it. But yeah, I'm more or less caught up aside from part six, which I'm still being surprised by.
Nice. Yeah, I guess my experiences with JoJo is just the memes and the voice actors who have played the characters. I've only seen bits and pieces of the first part, and I just kind of got distracted and watched some other anime that was on Netflix at the time, so I didn't really
That's
finish
not,
it.
it is
Yeah,
understandable. Like I said, part one's a little boring. So
yeah,
don't blame
that
you.
probably might be why. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and it's yeah, it is like I said, it's just insane on just how big it really got. Like it is just phenomenal. Um, and let me see what else have I been watching. Oh yeah, and I think you've also cosplayed as a JoJo character last year, if I'm not mistaken.
I've done several, but I don't post a lot of pictures of myself. I'm just not a big, I don't consider myself all that photogenic. The most recent one that I posted a picture of was my version of part two's Joseph Joestar. It was kind of a female version, which was honestly really simple. It's just jeans, a green um tank top. I technically have the hair already, brown hair, but I wore like a wig as well, which is really pretty, and I thought I looked pretty badass. But I've also cosplayed characters from part five and part three as well. And I'm already planning more. So I'm sure the list will continue to grow at some point.
Yeah, totally. I was also gonna I was just saying that like as far as conventions go, because I know you've been to a couple, like you've gotten autographs from voice actors. What are some of your positive? I think you mentioned this last time, but yeah, have you been to like any more? And do you have any more stories to share since the last time we spoke about cons and
Oh my
stuff?
goodness. I've definitely been to more. There was a little bit of a break in between because with COVID, a lot of things were closed and it took some time for a lot of these conventions to sprout back up. A lot of them took break years, but I think last year I went to a good handful, and every year I plan out ones that are near me within driving distance, and I try to go to them when I can. Yeah, no, the most recent one I went to, I think it was called GalaxyCon. It was in Columbus, Ohio. And it was kind of like a Comic-Con situation. I mainly went for merch and the voice actors. But it was really cool because I got to meet the voice actors for Mario from the Mario series, Charles Martinet, and Roger Craig Smith, aka Sonic the Hedgehog. Both were really sweet. It was really cool getting to meet them for sure.
Man, you're so lucky. I was gonna go in August, but then, you know,
Mm.
yeah. And then, that happened, so I'm hoping I could get to go. Like, if they do have it, like, over here in Long Beach this upcoming year, I'm totally gonna be there. Like, absolutely. If time permits, anyways. So, anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much what we've kind of been getting into as of late. And I think, and it's really funny because as I was going through like some old YouTube videos that you did, um, I just still remember like the comic dub that you did with the princesses. That just kind of started gaining traction. It just kind of blew up on YouTube for a while, and it's just like, yeah, that must have been like a pretty nice little project that you did with a few friends of yours. And
It was a really nice project. It's interesting because for those who don't know, I got into kind of both the online community in general, just broad online community, as well as voice acting through YouTube initially. I started out as one of those My Little Pony YouTubers. I did that for a couple of
Oh
years in high
yeah.
school. And I kind of, as
That was all the rage.
oh yeah, nope, I was a part of it. But even though I'm not into, I haven't even finished the show. I don't do that kind of content really much
Nah,
anymore.
me
But
neither.
even so, I still owe a lot to it. It's really what got me to kind of start. It helped me discover voice acting online, making connections, have made some good friends that I'm still in contact with. Oh, sorry, my cat's stretching. So again, she might pop up on screen. No, nope, she's going back to sleep. All right. Um, but I still really appreciate it. But toward the end, I thought, well, I really don't want to do pony stuff anymore. Maybe I can do other fandom related stuff. And the Three Little Princesses, I think, I'm like 99% certain that's the last thing I uploaded on my YouTube channel. Just because simply I wrapped up schooling. I guess I became an adult in the sense that with my voice acting and my day job and then occasional freelance work that I get in, I just didn't really have the time or the drive to be on that creative side anymore. So I think I kind of try to make up for it by voicing in other projects when I can. I love helping people out when I can with their project, when I can tell that it's a passion project and they're just looking for an extra person to help them out, even if it's just like one or two lines. I love helping those types of content creators because I was in those same shoes not too long ago. But yeah, the Three Little Princesses, I remember kind of going through that in college. I think I kind of wrapped it up in the middle of midterms where it was like, all right, I'm going to be up till like 3 in the morning until like 9 till midnight. I'm going to study for this biology test. Then from 12 to 3, I'm going to edit this princess comic stuff. So it was interesting choices I made there. But yeah, I look back on it fondly still.
Yeah. So going back to like comic dubs and voiceover, I guess that type of stuff. I know that you've been a part of some really neat projects like in the past year or so. Would you like to share about them?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I should have pulled up my Excel sheet.
Oh,
It, it's
that would
it's
be nice.
nah, you're good. You're fine. It's interesting this past year. I'd say honestly, like 2021 up until like the first half of 2022, and then I kind of put things on pause to go job hunting for my new job. But it was honestly a pretty good year with how I kind of, I think, put myself out there. A lot of the projects that I'm personally proud of, it's actually kind of stuff I really haven't posted too much on, just because it's more in the commercial VO sphere. That's something I really jumped into these past couple of years. I realized through classes and coaching that I kind of had that voice where we're at in the world of commercials and what a lot of people are looking for. I can kind of bring that. So I've been training on that and being able to voice in like a couple of cool projects. And it's been really great getting to kind of extend my range. As much as I love doing the character work and the audio dramas, that's still my number one favorite things to do. I'm also proud that I was able to branch into the commercial side. That's not talked about as much with voice acting, but I'd say it has just as much value. And yeah, that's what I've been doing lately.
Yeah, that sounds like it must have been. These must be some pretty fun projects that you've been getting into as of late.
Ah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. As for me, I know I've posted a couple of announcements here and there, but for the most part, it's just kind of like it's out, and then I would kind of forget about it for a while, and then I would go back to it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in this. That's right. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's kind of like that with me because like I made like three announcements. I voiced in a Halloween short and then I did like um an audio type of Christmas gift, which is like an audio book, I think. Audio drama, I think. Yeah. And then I'm gonna be in a animated Sonic related project that I just announced, and I've just still been booking some stuff here and there. So that's pretty nice. It's, I mean, any I'm just grateful for, we're just all grateful for the opportunities that we get
Absolutely.
in the world of
Absolutely.
VO. Yeah. Um, but let me see.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Sorry, I will say everything. I was looking this up. One, to talk more about kind of funner, I get funner, more fun projects.
Yeah.
I was able to be in a game that I believe it came out kind of toward the end of 2022. It was by Funagami Games, and it's called Reshape, and it's like a horror type of visual novel game. And I got to voice a character named Jasmine, and I absolutely love her because she literally just talked like this the whole time. Like the coworker that didn't want to be there and never had enough coffee in her system. And I always love voicing characters like that because as someone who gets up at like 6 in the morning on a daily basis, I feel that grind sometimes. So it's nice to project that into the characters that I voice.
Yeah. Um, and I mean, since COVID and the pandemic have really changed a lot of stuff over the last few years, like if you were to go back into like doing live, like if would you consider going back to like doing theater or anything at some point once, everything opens? Once it's a little safer to do events like that?
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's something I used to do quite a bit in college before COVID hit. It's something I've been considering. I know I'm in the Cincinnati area, and I've been told, and based on what I've seen in Cincinnati in northern Kentucky, which isn't too far from me, there is a pretty lively community theater scene. It's just a matter, I think, of me getting back out there and getting back into the swing of it, and just, I think, personally building that confidence back up again because I'm used to being behind the mic. I can do that all day, any day. It's been a hot sec since I've been on stage live in person. So I hope one day to build that confidence back up, and we'll see what the future holds.
Right on. Um,
Hmm.
uh, And yeah, that's just a pretty good mindset to have. Oh, I don't think I mentioned what games I've been playing as of late. I've been just playing a lot of like Smash Bros, Mario stuff, getting back into Zelda. I haven't played the new Pokemon yet. Um, I did get like the new Mario Party and the new Sonic Frontiers game that just came out, and I also watched the Sonic Prime show that was out on Netflix.
That's on my
Um,
list. It looks
yeah,
good. Like it looks
it
really, really
does.
good.
It is really good. But yeah, like last year was definitely like, um, it was a pretty big year for Sonic because people were like, "Oh my gosh, like when are we gonna get new Sonic content?" Here you go. Like last year was like, "Yeah, okay, here we're gonna give you like you got the Sonic, the sequel to the Sonic movie, you got like the comics, you got the show, you got the game." So that's pretty much a lot of content that is pretty much what um, what you see is what you get. That's pretty much what Sonic says in the game. So yeah, but there you go. They Sega delivered.
Yeah, I haven't been too big into playing a lot of the Sonic games. Like I said, I wasn't really a big
Yeah,
gamer growing up, but I know of all the media because Twitter won't shut up about it. But I also know
for
like
real.
Sonic's past and kind of turbulent years and how it looks like it's kind of is coming back, like, bouncing back for like the fourth, fifth time at this point. I can't keep track anymore.
Pretty
But
much, that is pretty much accurate. Yep,
yeah, but I'm glad he's having another high. It's good to see.
totally. And I know that Sonic definitely had its year last year, but now this year is going to be Mario's year.
I totally forgot about that for a second. That's true. I already told my friends it's funny growing up. I wasn't the biggest gamer, but if I did have games for like my DS or my Wii, it was always Mario related. I was into that stuff, looking up the Mario YouTube videos and from the like mid 2000s. Oh God, that was a time. But I told my friends know that I was really into Mario. So when the movie came out, I was like, guys, I need you to come with me for moral support. I'm going to be crying in the theater. I am so excited for this. And I still am really excited for it. I'm hoping it's going to be good. And if it's not, the visuals at least look nice. So I'll take that.
Oh yeah, totally. I know that the Mario movie is gonna look like it looks so beautiful. Like it's gonna be like it is so just awe-inspiring that they're pretty much being very faithful to the games as much as possible. Um, like with the designs, the backgrounds, the environment. I know the one thing that people are kind of split on is the voice acting, which honestly, um, at least about 80 or 90% of it, I'm honestly totally on board with it. For the 10%, I know it's kind of going to warm up on me for a bit. It's going to take some time for it to really, you know, get used to, I guess. But we'll see. Only time will tell. What are your thoughts on it so far for the movie?
Yeah, like I'm going with like a positive mindset, I think. I don't want to judge anything too harshly before it comes out. I know with the whole Chris Pratt and him just like
Yeah.
not only Mario, I guess like he's Garfield in an upcoming Garfield movie as well. But yeah, I don't want to judge too harshly just from like a couple of like a total of 3 minutes worth of scenes. So like I'll wait till after the
So
movie. Ask me after I've seen the full movie, then I will be like totally like yes, no, whatever.
yeah, and like I don't know. I don't have much to say about it. It's just like, the internet, like people on the internet, social media have very strong voices and opinions about
Mm-hmm.
Mario and especially Sonic, which let me tell you. Um, but like, you know, I haven't seen the full movie, so it's like, I mean, at least we're getting a Mario movie in the first place, so that's like a big achievement in and of itself. And it's just, like I said, it actually looks incredible. I might actually see it in theaters. And fun fact, like Chris was gonna be, he was originally like he was considered for Sonic, but I mean we got Ben Schwartz, so
Mm-hmm.
um, that would have been an interesting what if. Um, yeah,
It
just
would.
a fascinating what if Chris Pratt was Sonic. Or no. This in joke that I do with my friends. What if Owen Wilson was Sonic and then he would just say, "Gotta go fast, speed,
I
speed.
am Speed.
I
That's it. Like
am the speed."
I love your what if is what if Pratt voiced Sonic in the Sonic movie. My what if is what if Sega or I forget whatever the movie studio was didn't change
Paramount.
Sonic's Paramount, thank you.
Oh
Didn't
God.
change Sonic's design and we got that full movie with that old
Oh
design.
no. I
I
would not
want
even.
that. I want that so bad now. I want to know. I want to know.
Dude, that would have been like I because
It's a
like
cursed timeline, but I want to go down it. I need to
it's
see.
cursed because people would just be looking away from the design of how just I mean I'm glad that they changed the design, but it'd be like, oh my goodness, we would have gotten even oh, Twitter would have been like it would have been interesting to say the least.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Um And yeah, we could just talk about like, goals or just anything like just to manifest and hold each other, I guess, accountable. I
I
guess
hear
that's
you.
what people are doing now. Yeah. So what's your list of like, I guess, goals or stuff that you wrote down that you like to accomplish or achieve in 2023 since we're
Hmm.
in the new year? Mhm.
Yeah, I know it's funny. I used to be more of a goal setter in that sense of like in the new year, but I found I wasn't always the best at keeping them. So I think I'm the kind of person that develops goals as I continue just kind of going throughout the year and seeing how things are going in my current life. Like I'm the type of person that can't sit still. So I'll get to that point where I'm like, what's the next thing I can learn or do? And then that will be my new goal of learning and like achieving something. And then I'll get to that point and I'll be satisfied. And then pretty soon after, I'll be like, okay, but what's the next thing I can do now? Um, so like I think for me, now that I have this new job, a goal of mine is to really kind of actually start like saving my money for things. I really love this Cincinnati area. I would love to like settle here, find a house. I know the housing market is crazy right now, but I know a big goal of mine is to start kind of thinking about that and start properly preparing to go on that hunt sooner rather than later if I'm able. And yeah, that's personally just a big goal of mine is taking like that next step, I guess, in my adult life.
Yeah, of course. That's pretty much for all of us. I got like the generic stuff like submit more auditions, research talent rosters, agencies, studio, all that stuff. I think one of my bigger ones is talking to more like it's getting connected more with the industry and cutting
Hmm.
back on social media because Twitter is kind of going through just a little something something right now, which pretty sure everybody's aware of. And with the whole I mean it's not just Twitter, but like the industry has just kind of been like in a rough position right now. So I'm just like, you know, that's usually when I would take this time to um focus on creating my own content and doing my own thing. Like I know that the indie scene has been exploding for the last few years, so that I think that's pretty much an area where I would love to explore in more and just I guess getting my feet tip my toes into the whole indie content scene, which
Hmm.
should be pretty interesting because there's been a lot of great projects that have been released over the last few years. I know that um, I think it was Haspin Hotel that just got picked up by a network, and also some other indie
Hmm.
projects that are getting noticed by like studios and whatnot. So I think that would be something that is I mean, there's like really no better time to get into the whole indie scene than, in the 2020s. Ironically, as we're in a pandemic, but still, I mean, in the midst of every dark situation, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There are some silver linings. There is some good stuff that has come out since we've been at this for like the last 3 years now. Good Lord. There is good. Trust me. I just like to be positive.
Oh, same here, absolutely. And you're right. This, especially since COVID, the indie scene, just honestly, the online world has just exploded because I think um companies, both voice acting and other industries, have realized that there's a lot that they can do online. And I think it's really cool, again, especially with voice acting, but other industries as well. Now that people are more open to connecting that way, that people are getting opportunities to audition, to apply for jobs, to work at things that maybe with their current living situation or even just geographically they couldn't before. So it's really cool that not only are we getting more opportunities, but more people are being given the opportunity to also be themselves and do what they want to do. And as much as the pandemic sucks, I think that's definitely a great thing that has come out of this is this new connectivity through the online space for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and I was also going to say that with social media, like with Zoom and everything that's been going about, we just been, I think people are starting to like really flock together and just having this bigger connection that we didn't really have beforehand. So, anything can happen as long as
Mhm.
you look, as long as you're, like, making friendships with the right people. I mean, um, with some pretty good people. That's all I'm going to say because there has been some drama in the past, which I'm not going to get into. But yeah, it's like, I mean, that I've seen on, social media.
Mhm.
It's just like, as long as you meet the right people and you have a really strong support group, then, it's going to make everything like even more worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Again, always keeping positive and keeping your head up is a great way to look at it.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. Um, and and with gaming, like people have been doing Twitch streaming and
Hmm.
just doing a lot of this other stuff that I guess they call it like the grind or the hustle or what have you. I just have not been looking into Twitch because I don't know if it's something that's really for me, but never say never. I'll give it a shot at some point. Um, just don't know when though.
Hmm.
Because keeping a schedule is like, yeah, um, that's the thing.
I hear you. And yeah, I know that's I think anyone would be lying if they said the briefest idea of maybe being a Twitch streamer hasn't crossed their mind because anyone can get into it. I know it's crossed my mind. I know I just wouldn't have the time. And I think also the social energy of being able to stay like that interactive for hours on end. I admire the extroverts that can do it. It takes effort for me being the introvert that I am. So it's not the field for me, but I admire the people that can do it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. But as for classes and workshops, yeah, which ones have you been taking? Like, I know I've asked you this before, but which ones would you personally recommend for people who are interested on getting started into VO or have been doing this for a while, but they just kind of were looking for some recommendations?
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny you bring that up because now with the new year, trying to get back into voice acting classes. Again, with that job hunt, I did take that break for a little bit. But
Oh, totally.
for those who are just starting or are looking to get back into things, the one I personally started with were the voice acting 101 and 201 classes from Casting Call Club. They were really great at giving me an introduction. I don't know how they're set up now. It's been a while since I've seen it, but at least when I went, I think it was a 10-12 week class, and considering the price, it honestly wasn't terrible. And each week we covered a different aspect of voice acting, and it was absolutely like a blanket for the voice acting industry. So like one week was video games, another was commercial, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then I'd say after you kind of get those general classes and even like lectures, I know there's a lot of different Twitter accounts and servers. The VAC server often has like three or free talks with voice actors like once or twice a month, just sitting in on lectures and learning from other people's experience. Then once you kind of get into that and you have those different areas or aspects of voice acting that you'd like to learn about more, then start looking for those more specific classes. I did voiceover camp for commercial work. Everyone was super nice and super encouraging, and I would definitely recommend those. There are a handful of voice actors that do their own voice acting classes. I always say be a little cautious with those because just because someone voice acts, that doesn't make them a teacher all the time. So definitely look at their track record and get reviews from people. That being said, I've done work with Kiba Walker. He has a really great class about getting into animation and ADR. I'm hoping to do his ADR at some point. But yeah, that's kind of been my journey and is a journey other people can take as well. And my cat finally woke up. So here she is showing her butt. She's very confused why there's a mic with a arm in the spot that she typically sits in. So now I think she's trying to rub against it. So you might hear some noises from my mic, and I apologize. Or she's trying to sit
It's
down with
all
this.
good.
She's trying to sit down with this thing in the way when she could go onto my other arm. But her name's Lady. She's anything but. Hi. Hey, bud.
Hi, Lainey.
And she also gets me very hairy. Black was not the correct color to wear tonight.
I mean, it's okay. Yeah.
But yeah, that's sorry. I can't imagine she's comfortable right now leaning against this mic stand, but she's a cat. She's weird. But yeah, that's been my journey when it comes to voice acting classes.
Yeah. I've been I've been looking for a couple myself, because I took so many last year and I'm just still on like class hunting, so to speak, this month. So yeah. If anybody has any recommendations, we love to hear it. Just, hit us up. Yeah.
For sure.
Do 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 do. And like, I don't know, do you have any questions that you want to ask me? Because I've been asking a lot so far.
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think. I've been, of course, listening and paying attention, but I can't help but notice all like the little posters that are behind you. Tell me about them.
Yeah, they came from like the cons that I went to before the pandemic, and I got quite a few. There's still some that I haven't even hung up yet, and they're like 4 years old. Yikes. So yeah, like this huge collection of posters on my wall, and like behind me is pretty much where I record. So these are kind of like they're just for like, confidence boosters or like just to light up a mood and, all that good jazz. And I still got plenty around my room. And like I said, still haven't hung up a few because I just am kind of lazy like that. So yeah, that's pretty much just the gist of it. As you can clearly tell, I'm a huge like nerd pop culture geek when it comes to this stuff. I've gotten signatures from voice actors and I've also gotten like um posters, books, just anything, art, you name it.
Hmm. Yeah, so like you said, you've met a couple voice actors. What's been like a memorable experience, if you have one, like meeting one?
um
Essentially, who's your favorite? Don't pick favorites, but like who was your favorite? I think everybody's got a favorite.
Let me see. I met Sean Chiplock a few times. If you know who he is, he's
I
in
do.
yeah, he's in JoJo. He's in Breath of the Wild. He's been all over the place. Every interaction that I've had with him has always been very like calm, chill, and professional. And he's also just a really nice guy in general. And I also had him on my podcast, and he was just, he's always just an incredibly just. He always provides a lot of insight and knowledge about the industry, which I really appreciate. Kira Buckland, I've also met a few times.
I've met Kira
And
too.
yeah, she's just really awesome. And let's see, are there other VAs I met? I met Khaki Films and just a lot of people that have worked on like video games and animation. I did meet and to this day, the voice actors I would love to meet are people that have worked in the industry for years, like people that you might have heard on, you know, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. I would love to meet Tom Kenny. I would love to meet Rob Paulson one of these days.
Same here.
Those are two VAs that are like really high on the VAs that I would love to meet someday. And if we're talking like teachers who I've coached with, um, Crispin Freeman, Richard Horvitz, and I've had interactions with Bob Bergen a few times, Debbie Derryberry, Aaron Fitzgerald, just a lot of VAs in the industry that I've met. And of course, I have to shout out Kiba Walker, who is just great teacher and also just a really, really cool dude. So shout out to you, Kiba. Hope you're doing well out there. I know that you also caught um, COVID, which probably sucked, and a lot of our classes ended up getting pushed back because of,
Hmm.
just illnesses and whatnot. So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. I saw that
Yeah.
Robert and I, since we took classes with Kiva, we're in a Discord server. So I
Oh
saw all
yeah,
that.
I just noticed that too.
No, it's funny you mention him because there's a convention happening in Columbus, Ohio, which is like an hour and a half from me. It's called OhioCon, and it's not this weekend. I think it's the following weekend. And
Yeah.
I decided I really didn't want to go this year just to save up money. And at the time, there weren't a lot of VAs
Yeah.
present that I
Right.
knew. And then I find out that Kiva's going to be there. And I'm like, oh,
So I'm like, oh crap! Now I gotta go.
I know. And then there's JoJo VAs. There's Keith Silverman, I think is that his last
Oh,
name?
Keith Silverstein, and
Dean, thank
yeah, I
you.
think I see. Yep, right here. Yep.
And I think Richard Horvitz was going to be there too. And I'm like, I wasn't going to go. I was going to save my money. I
Oh
don't think
man,
I'm going to wind
yeah,
up going. I wish I could, but like, it's one of those things that I think I'm going to have to stick to my guns because there's a
yeah.
bunch of conventions happening in February that I want to see.
I
So,
know, right? Also, here's my Keith autograph
yes.
right here.
It,
Yeah.
it's funny you mentioned Sean Chiplock. So I haven't met him in person, but I've had the privilege to actually kind of oop, rip my mic, kind of act with him a little bit for the past couple of years. He does Twitch. I don't know if you know. You can find him on Sonic Mega.
He's Sonic Mega everywhere.
Yes. Um, but one thing he's been doing for the past couple of years since COVID started was go through the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy. And
Oh yeah.
he does a live dub where people in his Discord server can audition. The server votes who they want, and then it's a thing that would happen every Saturday. I missed the first one. I was able to audition and get a small villain role for the second part. We wrapped up the trilogy this year. It started in April and we finished it in December. But I got the role of Iris, who's a pretty prominent character in the very last case of the trilogy, and it was really fun. Our improv was all over the place and off the walls, and we were all silly, but super, super, super fun. Sean really is a really cool guy, and the fact that he opens up his platform like that to just let a bunch of us come in and act and yeah, have fun. It was a really fun experience for sure.
Oh, totally. Yeah. We'll be talking about some more stuff in the next part, so stick around and yeah, stay creative, y'all. Hey. All right. So, alrighty. This is part two of our conversation. So, since I think we only have about like a few minutes left, I just like to continue where you were talking about the light dubs. So, yeah, so getting to participate in Sean's light dubs. I did audition for a couple of them, but I'm not sure if yeah, I don't think I got cast. But yeah, so how is it like getting to work with Sean and the rest of the crew over on his Twitch channel and just being a part of those Ace Attorney that all that good
Yeah.
jazz.
Honestly, super, super fun. And don't beat yourself up if you didn't get a role. I know
I know, yeah.
the way, but also I noticed when the voting would happen, I think for like every one female-based audition, there were like I would guess 4 or 5 male auditions for different roles. So there were a lot of guys fighting for a limited amount of roles. Um, but it was really fun. Like I said, it was very low stakes. It's incredibly casual. We didn't go in and we weren't being expected to like nail everything. I know the first time that I did it back in 2021, I came in and I was so nervous and I wasn't very confident, but I did what I could and I had fun. And then this year, understanding more of how this works, we all kind of came in and we were just every other line we were making a joke with each other and improving on spot, which was both a little nerve-wracking, like thinking if I could keep up with everybody's comedic timing. But at the end of the day, we didn't care. It could have been nobody was watching. We were just having fun going back and forth with each other. But yeah, it was fun getting to see the progression of this trilogy of games that honestly, it's basically a soap opera. Phoenix, right? Ace Attorney, if people haven't seen like the anime or played the game. So like a lot of high stakes, a lot of dramatic reveals, but when you get into the world of it and just believe it as is, it's really fun, really goofy, but when it wants to be sincere and heartfelt, it hits pretty close to home. So it was fun. It was really fun.
Oh yeah, totally. And it's like if you if you're doing something and then you get a reaction out of somebody, then hey, you're at least doing something right.
Hmm. Fair enough.
Totally.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, dope. Um yeah, and then like because I know that Sean also does these as a way to like, it's also a way to hone in your voice acting skills just to practice and you know, your chops, because that's what pretty much what these are. It's like, you improv, you work out and do all that stuff. So it's like, that's pretty much what we do on a day-to-day basis anyways.
And I will say for people that are looking for more opportunities, you don't have to wait for another Twitch stream to audition. There's
Right.
Discord,
Yeah.
there's groups, there's Discord servers, there's classes you can pay for. But even honestly, there's quite a handful of free resources out there where a lot, like I said, the Discord communities, I can't think of the names right off the top of my head, but there are those that you can just go in that are holding table reads. So going through scripts, like once or twice a week, and you can get feedback, not necessarily from professionals, but from fellow peers, and just you're helping each other kind of grow in your abilities and you're just having fun. Um, but yeah, there are multiple opportunities out there to find those groups of people if that's what you're looking to do.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of resources that you could look into. There's just plenty of opportunities that are out there. Not just that, but you could just look online. There's great communities where you can talk to people and audition and yeah, just pretty much experiment and see where your path or journey takes you.
Absolutely. That's kind of the fun with voice acting, depending on what you do with it. You're kind of experimenting, trying to be something or someone that you're not. That's the fun of acting. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and again, like, and even if maybe you're not at that point where you want to join those groups, if you're nervous, but you still want to find those opportunities, or maybe they're just not, you're trying and trying like with auditions and it's not lining up, make your own opportunities, like create your own stuff. That's again with my YouTube channel back in the My Little Pony days. That's how I started. I
Way
made
back in the day.
back in the day, but I made my own stuff and I cast myself in my own roles and I put that groundwork of wanting to explore more. But yeah, if the opportunities aren't seeming to find you, you make those opportunities yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, and you know, it's about, I know they say it's who you know, but honestly, it's who knows you. Or vice versa. I
Mm.
don't know. I'm kind of like, I might be getting it mixed up, but I think that's the saying that that's how it usually goes.
Am I- I've personally never heard that saying before, but it makes sense if so. I've personally been in situations because again, I'm an introvert when it comes to social media. I'm not the greatest at keeping up with it consistently. Um, but there have been moments where I've worked with someone on a project or we've been in a call or a class together, and then somewhere down the line they're doing their own project or they're cast in another project that's looking for a specific role, and I've been like asked to audition or I've been recommended for certain roles just because I was with that person for that set amount of time and they saw me and they heard me and they liked what I was doing and they thought I was a fit for whatever it was they were looking for. So it really is like you never know when you're doing like those classes and stuff like that. You're not just learning skills with voice acting, but you are making those connections, even if you don't realize it. I think it kind of unconsciously happens as well. Because even flipped, I know when I've done projects for things or even professionally for work, and I've needed to find people, I instantly think of people that I've had classes or did work for or work with in the past. So yeah, you never know. More people have you in mind than you might realize.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And it's so true because of what you said. Because it's like for something that you audition for, it doesn't mean that you don't get. It's not because that you're bad. It's because sometimes directors have a very specific mind for a role. It could be a quality of a voice, or it could be what they've done at their audition, like acting choices, or just etc. It's you know, it just kind of depends from person to person. It really does.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's definitely important. Because I know with some people, and that was me a little bit starting out when it came to auditioning and not getting roles, kind of getting into my head and wondering like why I wasn't. Um, I think it's important to remember just because you didn't land the role, that doesn't mean your performance was bad. It might simply mean that it's not what the director's looking for. A lot of times when projects are cast, it's one, two, three, or a small group of people, and they may have a specific vision that they're looking for. And just because your audition maybe didn't match that vision, that doesn't mean your version or your interpretation was wrong. Like that's definitely, I hope that's not a mindset I hope people don't have. I see how easy it can be to slip into that. Because voice acting, it's tough. As cool as it's been with COVID, like with all these opportunities opening up. On the flip side, more people are now flocking to those opportunities. So the pool, especially for non-union, freelance, indie people, that talent pool and that competition has grown immensely. So it is. It's that's why they say like when it comes to voice acting, auditioning is like 90% of what you're doing with yourself because you really are throwing everything out there, throwing it at the wall and seeing what sticks. But this is all to loop back and say that if you do get into voice acting, especially now that it's don't expect it that you're going to get role after role after role. I don't that nobody started out like that. But just because you're not getting those roles, it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It's just a very busy business. And you may have missed one opportunity, but five more have just opened up to you with other auditions. So looking forward is also very, very important. I know I just went on a bit of a ramble there, but hopefully what I said made
No,
sense.
don't worries. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Anything else that you like to share or talk about?
Oh, what else? What haven't we talked about? I'm trying to think. Oh, I know I mentioned I have a JoJo wall that's
Oh
in my
yeah.
bedroom. So this is my computer that I'll use for kind of like freelance editing, stuff like that. I occasionally have like meetings or talks like this, and more or less like my background looks professional or I guess normal. I can't turn it because this is a big computer, but I love that
Don't
just
worry.
to like the left of me, I have all my tiny prints and it's like a miniature collage here. And they're just like small prints that I've gotten from conventions. There's a lot of like video game fan art that I really, really like. And it's just, there's a lot of Mario art on here. I just now realized that's wild. But I always kind of like how it's facing forward. It's the very professional-esque kind of look. But nobody knows that right off to my left is all the nerdy and colorful and fun stuff directly to the left of me. So I like that's a secret of mine. I've not told anyone. So there you go.
Nice. Oh yeah, yeah. Because I have a lot. Like I said, I have so much stuff on my walls. It's not even funny.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
know for me, like I moved here by myself a couple years ago, and one of the hardest things to do after getting furniture was filling walls. It's one thing when you have to fill your walls like in your bedroom or a dorm room for college. Um, but then when you have like a whole living, like a like not a house, but or yeah, if you have a house or just a bigger living space that is more than just that dorm or bedroom, you realize just how much stuff you, if you're that person, you need to fill up the space because otherwise it's just so empty. And my place was so empty for the longest time because I didn't know what to put on my walls. But I've slowly built it up over the past couple of years. So it's getting there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let me see. I guess we can also talk about like yeah, because you've done school, you've done theater, and we've talked about that the last time, so I'm not sure if there's anything new to really discuss other than like oh, um just for manifesting purposes, what would be your personal like um what's your affirmation quotes? What would be something that you want
Mm.
to say for this year that could definitely help you um, along the way for this year in 2023?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
It's funny because for Christmas I got my friends gifts and I got, you can find them on Amazon. It's a little jar and they're called happiness pills. And there's like 100, they all look like regular like prescription pills you would swallow. You do not swallow or eat these. Don't do that if you buy this. But each, you can open up the pill and in each pill there's like a little slip of paper that you can write stuff on. So I did that for my friends and I wrote like motivational quotes. I'm a very quote centric person. But there's always been one quote, like ever since I think end of high school, beginning of college, that stuck with me. And it was by Kermit the Frog, aka Jim Henson, in the Muppet movie. And it was just simply life's like a movie, write your own ending. And I don't know, it's just it's a really simple quote, but for me that it just tells me that like life and this world, there are endless possibilities for whatever that you want to do. Like whatever you want to do in life, there's so many different choices out there today. But the only person that's going to make them happen or have a chance at happening is you. So it's enjoy the movie that is your life. And if you want that, like that sunset fade out, credits roll in type of thing, whatever your goal or your dream is in life, you got to make it happen. And it's just that little reminder to myself that if there is something that I want to accomplish or want to do, it's on me to do it.
Yeah. Pretty powerful stuff there.
Ah, nah, it's just the quote from a Muppets movie. But
And it's from Muppets of all. I mean, like we all love Muppets, so it's like, yeah,
correct.
um the biggest life advice that you could get that you could ever like learn from comes from Muppets of all things. Of things.
Yeah, but I like the Muppets. I like Jim Henson and his work.
Yeah,
He
I
also
do
did
like
Sesame
Muppets.
Street,
Sesame Street. Yeah.
Fraggles. I grew up with him, and yeah, he was one of my inspirations when I was figuring out what I wanted to do with myself. He still is. I really respect his work.
Yeah, Jim Henson. Yeah, he was gone way too young. But
Mm.
his work, like their work, whenever somebody passes away, it's like they never really left us. Like their work continues to live on in all of us, pretty much. Yeah, with
Hmm.
all of us. Yeah. So it's like they never really truly went away, but their work still, we still carry on their work. And yeah, we're never gonna forget them, forgive them, like forget their impact or influence anytime soon. That's the way I see it.
That's a good way to look at it for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, I Yeah, I think that's pretty much about that kind of almost wraps up everything. Is there like do you have anything like coming up that you want to promote or share that is not under NDA? Something else that we can expect to see from Miss Gina Moravec?
Ooh, I like how you said my last name. Um, I guess let me think what else is coming out. There is stuff I'm waiting, but they are under NDA. But when they come out, you'll see it on my Twitter. One thing I can say is that like right after we finish this interview and I send you the files, I will have a new Twitter profile pic, and I'm really excited. And it may or may not be JoJo related because I'm a big nerd, but I'm really excited to show it off. So that should be up by the time whenever this goes up.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be pretty dope. And we've already discussed our favorites and everything. So yeah, I guess what is the last piece of advice that you would want to close out on?
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to think. It's been a while. I always way back in the day I had a set answer for this, but it's been a while since I've been asked this, so I got to remember to how I recreated this. I would say for anyone that is like whether or not it is voice acting or whatever, maybe that you do have that dream or that goal of yours and you want to do it and you're afraid of like taking that first step because maybe you're afraid that you're going to fail or it's not going to be how you envision the results going to be, or it's not going to be perfect because you're new. As someone who is a perfectionist myself and took a very, very long
Same.
time, yeah, and took a very long time to kind of accept accept that within myself. I'd say if you're in that position, just if you need that extra motivation, I'm here to give it to you. Do it. It could, it might turn out exactly as you think it is. It may turn out completely opposite. You don't know. But if you don't take that first step, you never will know. And I think life is the kind of thing where I'd rather take those chances, even if I fail, than be too afraid to take any chances at all. So if you are nervous about taking that next step, because you don't know what the outcome is, don't worry about the outcome. It will come when it comes, but do that first step and try. That's what I got to say.
Yeah. So I don't think I have anything to add on to that. That was perfect. And your social media.
Yeah, so I'm mainly on Twitter. You can find me at Gina M9816. If you're curious about like my latest voice acting stuff that I didn't really
Mhm.
talk about, or if you want to see some of my audio editing work, as I do that too as a freelancer, among other
Oh
things,
yeah.
you can find out. Oh yeah, that's something I didn't mention since our last talk. I
Yeah.
have a what I made a website for myself. That was a goal of mine. I
Hey,
I
yeah.
finally did it, and
And
you
a
can
new demo reel.
I did was yeah, that was since last time. I've had the demo reel for a little over a year now, but I have a character demo. It's if you go to my Twitter again at Gina M9816, you'll see it right at the top there. I'm really proud of it. I'm really glad I was able to get that done. But if you're curious about my other work, you can find it at my website. It's simply ginamoravec.com, and that's GINAMORAVEC.com. And thank you for checking me out. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Any last words?
No, I don't think I can top myself with the Muppet quote and the final piece of advice, so I'm not going
Yeah,
to jinx it and ruin it.
of course. You could do like an outro for the podcast if you like.
uh, I mean, I don't know. What do you want me to do? Or you can do something I can jump on
Yeah,
it.
you could say like, "My name is Gina. I'm a voice actress, and I do audio. And you might have heard me on blah 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 blah. And you have just watched or listened to the Station Square podcast, or yeah, something like that.
Okay. But the question is now, are you going to jump cut to me doing that? Or are we including all of this rambling of me trying to figure out what you want me to say?
I'll include it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. I figured as much. Yeah. Okay. I guess I will jump into it. Um, so yeah, once again, I'm Gina Moravec. I'm a voice actor and audio engineer, and you've been listening to the Station Square podcast. Thank you for listening.
Perfect. And what roles have you done again?
Oh gosh. This is why I need my
Script
sheet
and
up
stuff, yeah.
next time. Again, if you want to check me out, you can check my website. It's all on there. I've had a couple of cool opportunities. I'm currently a podcast coordinator with the Cleveland Clinic, which is located in Ohio and Florida. And yeah, I'm just bouncing around the web, doing my best, screaming into a microphone when I've got time.
Hey, that's a big mood. And with that, um, that ought to do it. So thank you everybody for listening to us ramble for like almost 2 hours, I think.
Woo!
So yeah, new record. So until then, take it easy, y'all, and stay tuned for next time on Station Square. This is Robert Jackson signing out of here, and until then, adios amigos. Farewell, so long, goodbye, now scram, peace. Take care, y'all. Bye.